We're in the will self-destruct in T-minus 9 seconds.
I'm just going to give you more orders. How about that?
Fantastic.
You mean more than I usually get from you?
Yeah, keep flip-flop.
I'm changing everything from McEwen to you.
Oh, good. Thank you, so.
Catching away.
All right. Okay, everyone else set?
Yep.
Ready when you are.
Alrighty. I'd like to call this regular town council meeting to order along with the public hearings. If I can get a roll call, please.
Chair Gottlieb,
Here.
Councilor Bragdon,
Present.
Councilor Danforth,
Here.
Councilor Madore,
Here.
Councilor McEwen,
Excused.
Councilor Pelletier,
Here.
Councilor Pray.
Here. Thank you. If you could all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the
Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry for the late start. We had some, and still have some audio issues here. No longer. With that, though, adjustments to the agenda. Manager's report has been adjusted. Also, order number 187, 2022 and 188, 2022 have been added. Seeking approval of the minutes of 6/21, 2022 executive session.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. I would like to motion to move the manager's report from its current place to after special presentations. If I can get a second, please.
Second.
Motion by Chair, seconded by Councilor Madore. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Being that there are no special presentations, we will move to the manager's report.
This report was submitted a little later than usual. It's been an eventful week, as we all know. Out of an abundance of caution, knowing can I use your mic?
Yes.
Thank you. Out of an abundance of precaution, noting the national news stories focused on our town this evening, we had asked for some law enforcement to be present. Just noting that, so everybody understands why they are here. So my report was submitted later than usual. I understand most probably did not have an opportunity to review it ahead of time, but I will go through it. I will keep things brief this evening. In regard to the 4th of July, we have an entire weekend of festivities planned in celebration of Independence Day. We have a major thank you to Councilor Bragdon and the events committee for lining that up and taking care of the scheduling of all of those activities. The events scheduled are listed, I believe, in our reading packet, as well as through our social media and websites. We have a variety of things in addition to what we normally have. We're having a craft and vendor fair, as well as live music in the bandstand down in Veterans Park, as well as a bonfire for the community with free s'mores to be assembled and eaten during that party. And of course, we couldn't have a 4th of July celebration without a traditional parade and fireworks to kick off cap the end of the festivities. We do encourage all to come out and participate with that, and hopefully we have a blast that weekend and have a great kickoff to summer 2022, FY23. Pardon the confusion. Side note, in reference to the celebration and the condition of Veterans Park, The project has been, the final stage of that project has been slightly delayed. We have some questionable lead times for the actual light poles themselves. We have all the fixtures. Bases have been installed and are ready to complete the assembly. They will need 1 day to do that. And if the poles are to arrive ahead of time, they will be very much on getting that assembled for that celebration. If not, the entirety of the rest of that project is already completed. So we do have access to the additional electrical outlets. The panel is hooked up and functional, as well as the spotlights on the Veterans Memorial itself. So the only difference will be the overhead lighting, if it doesn't happen, and actually that is no different from in the past. So, you know, as much as I don't care for the expression, that's how we've always done it, it may be similar to the situation on the 4th of July, but we hope that those poles come in, and we hope that that project is completed. They've done great work. They will be back to loom and seed and grow some nice grass over there for us. We do have 2 school board vacancies at the moment, and given those 2 resignations, the town council will be tasked with appointing new members to serve temporarily until the next election. We have requested that an ad be replaced within the Katahdin Region News as well as on our website and Facebook page. Interested community members are encouraged to apply by emailing myself or calling me at manager@millinocket.org or by phone 207-723-7000. The deadline for that is July 7th. That is 2 weeks from today. I will be forwarding all that information over to the council, who will then conduct interviews and select candidates to provide that temporary placement on the school. So the recent Freedom of Information Act request. The narrative around the town versus school concept in relation to finances, bank accounts, news articles, has been a hot topic recently. The actual information and timeline have been misconstrued and miscommunicated in such a way that many people are being led to believe a story that is not based on the truth of the situation. I've been asked by the council to organize, produce, and post publicly contents of that FOIA request made by the Bangor Daily News, and I will include all email correspondences and information related to that subject at hand, and have that as well as a timeline of events. That packet of information will be soon posted to our website, made available to the public, and soon after we will be scheduling a meeting to address the matter and present the facts as they happened, offering, of course, an invite again to the school board as well as the Millinocket Education Association. Again, that'll be a public meeting. The date and time are to be determined. Referenced earlier is the national attention for our town, caused by a local sign in a local business. National response. We are all aware of the Juneteenth related sign that was posted in a business in our downtown, and the national attention that that business and our community have received because of it. This has caused much turmoil for our town, and the past 3 days, over the past 3 days, and there has been a disgrace put on our character. It is entirely unacceptable behavior, and we simply will not condone it. Town office, our phones and emails have been receiving alarming messages and threats from all over the country, stating that our community as a whole is racist. This is deeply upsetting. I believe that in the big picture, we are the exact opposite. We released the following statement in response to that disastrous event. It is deeply saddening, disgraceful, and unacceptable for any person, business, or organization to attempt to make light of Juneteenth and what it represents for millions of slaves and their living descendants. There is no place in the town of Millinocket for such blatant disregard of human decency. The town of Millinocket is a beautiful place to live, filled with welcoming, kind, hardworking people. As such, the town does not accept nor endorse anything short of inclusivity. We invite any and all to come discover the wonderful things that our community has to offer. That concludes my report for this evening. I will.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Appreciate the information, and surely, as was mentioned, the community has certainly undergone some national attention that we never wished upon ourselves. Our statement, I think, speaks for itself. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for reading that again. The manager and I did have a chance to go down to that business today and speak to them. They certainly have expressed their remorse. They have communicated with us that they had fired the employee that had posted that sign. And at this point, forgiveness is a personal choice for each individual out there. I choose to believe that the business itself did not intend to cause harm. That was my choice to believe that. And in my opinion, this is an opportunity for us as a community to set the example of what it means to move on from something like this. Moving on means different things for different people. Clearly, we live in a world of polarization where it's easy to maintain a hateful position against someone else, no matter what the belief may be. I think this poses an opportunity for us to set an example for how a community can move forward from an issue like this and make it a teachable moment that can make us stronger than we were before. Again, I want to thank that business for inviting the manager and myself to speak to them and hear their side of the story. And certainly want to just reiterate again how wonderful this community really is, the great people that do live here, and how the picture that has been painted does not represent the makeup of our community and the character of our community. And with that, there is an inquiry, Mr. Manager, that we have regarding a recent email, and part of the reason I requested the council to move the manager's report to where it is now, and we will get to council comment on the manager's report, but just to add this to the discussion, an email was recently sent from the superintendent to myself, council, and others, claiming that he did not have access to certain accounts in order for him to properly address some of the concerns that the treasurer and manager had raised with the superintendent. And I think it's important that some of the claims that were made in that email are addressed tonight, especially as we're considering the school budget here on our agenda. If the council is okay with first taking up that topic so we can have that discussion and then moving on to the remainder of the manager's report, and I see no opposition to that. Mr. Manager, and to the public. The council takes very seriously the financial position that we are put in for the well-being of our entire community. We have to make very difficult decisions every year and throughout the year that reflect not only the needs of the community, but also responding to some of the issues that come up. And that includes the school budget as well. The town council is responsible for passing the school budget. And with that, there has been some difficulty, and that's been alluded to by the manager, and surely a lot of members of the community are aware of this. There has been difficulty in trying to come to a consensus on how to move forward. We as a council cannot pass a budget that is unbalanced. We have been given an unbalanced budget, meaning that the revenues and the expenditures do not align. We cannot pass a budget that is not balanced. Before us, we have just that. In the process of trying to seek additional information and to resolve some of those imbalances, the manager and Mary Alice, the treasurer, have reached out to the school department to try and make them aware of certain imbalances so that it can be resolved before it comes to the council for a vote. In a recent response, the superintendent had claimed that he had not had access to this information, claiming that there is a general fund that he has not been able to know how much money is within it. I think as a council and for our overall very consistent role in being transparent with the public, with one another, and with the school department, I think it would be wise to inquire, Mr. Manager, as to the validity of some of the claims in this email. If you could please speak to that.
Well, for starters, the account in question does not exist. It's simply a line item in a ledger. As I mentioned at a recent school board meeting, town has a general fund. Within that general fund lies all of my money. There is no separate account that holds separate money for that purpose. And any funds that come in, either from the Department of Education of Millinocket or for the Department of Education in Millinocket, gets designated to be used for educational purposes by the Department of Education in Millinocket. There's no hidden information within that. There was claims that they don't have access to those accounts or the information within them. Bookkeeper does have access, read access to all the detailed information that is necessary for them to do their job and balance all the transactions and detailed information regarding the school's finances. That is then, in a more detailed fashion, handled within their own accounting software. Regarding the unbalanced information and claim that that information wasn't either valid or was held not entirely true. The practice of the former superintendent was such that, and what I understood was the proper method of handling it, was that when introducing carry forward money from the school's budget from a prior year, there had to be a, I call it a leapfrog year. You're allowed to move unassigned funds, carryover funds from 2 years prior into the upcoming fiscal year's budget. So, in the work created by Mr. Boynton heading into this last budget, if you look at the FY22 budget revenues, just like any others in the past, there is a line that has other funding sources. And the note on that line is that the adult ed had a total of $2,843, and the use of surplus of $200,789. That total sum is $203,632. Let me try that again. $203,632. That amount of money was moved into the FY22 budget to be used as revenue. In the closeout audit report, given the transition in leadership, it was handled differently. And in the audit report, it was reported differently. The entire fund was reported as $595,000 and change. So what that did not include was the breakdown of the $203,000 that was already spent compared to the additional unassigned funds that would have been available next year. This is something I'm not an expert in, so if I am mansplaining this to a certain level, I would appreciate somebody asking me a question. That is the explanation of the unbalanced budget. Using the entirety of the $595,000 that is showing up on an audit report as available funding. No, it's not available funding. There's normally a breakdown but to create that total of unassigned and assigned funds. Given that information wasn't included, it looked as though total available balance was $595,000, of which they, built into their budget. Now, on April 27th, they were informed of that information with an explanation from our treasurer, making sure they're aware that, yes, the report is stating $595,000. However, keep in mind that $203,000 was used in this year's budget, this current budget. So, yeah, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I have a couple questions, if the council doesn't mind, before I go to other questions from the council. If I understood it correctly, I guess there's a few issues here. One is, as the superintendent notes in the email, that budget proposal was built from audited figures of the fund balance. Am I correct that the numbers that are represented in the audit were provided strictly from the school? In other words, the school provided the budget to the auditors? Is that correct?
I believe so, yes. getting the affirmative from the treasurer.
Okay, so the town did not supply any of the numbers for the auditors that their budget was built upon. That was strictly theirs. And that did not include or understand that $203,632 was already committed to this fiscal year and therefore unavailable for carryover for the next year. Is that correct?
I missed some of that. Now, in prior years, the total is presented, and then a few line items underneath has separated assigned and unassigned, and that is generally where that information is portrayed in the audit report. It was not portrayed that way in this most recent audit report. It was just the grand total. Keep in mind, this is a transition in auditing firms. So, you know, slightly different format, slightly different style.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. So it seems that the budget that the school provided to the auditors did not include $203,632. The treasurer is affirming that. If you want to speak to that, if that's all right, Mr. Manager?
If you don't mind.
Okay, I believe it was just a question that wasn't asked when the report was put together. When our part of the report was done, I reported to the auditors what we had assigned for the fund balance, which would have included what we had committed to use in the upcoming budget. That step did not happen between the school and the auditors. So I think it was just a communication oversight. And again, it was a bunch of, it was new people on both sides.
Thank you, and that's certainly understandable with a new superintendent and a new auditor that there might be some miscommunication. I think where the concern lies is that I was copied on an email in which the treasurer had provided information to the superintendent that $203,000 would not be available for the next budget cycle, yet it was considered available under what was presented to us, and that seems to be an issue. $203,000 is over $1 million, just for context for the public. Am I correct in that I think it was April 27th that you had sent that information?
Yes, when I became aware, when I noticed the reporting discrepancy between the prior audit and the audit that we just completed, I realized that piece, breakout, was missing from the school's fund balance. So I did, as soon as I discovered that, I sent an email to the accounting man, to the bookkeeper, and to the superintendent, making them aware that they needed to take into consideration that piece of the fund balance that was already committed in the upcoming budget. And I never received any follow-up questions to that email.
Thank you, Mary Alice, for providing that insight. And if I heard correctly, the bookkeeper of the school has access to all of the accounts that were referenced in the superintendent's email?
I don't really understand what the question is when it comes to general fund. I mean, again, the bookkeeper, the school's accounting system maintains all the transaction details for the financial activity of the school. The school again, the bookkeeper has access to the bank statements, and that's used to reconcile all the activity. And when the audit is performed to compile the school's financial statements, the audit uses all of the school's detailed information, which in result, those transactions are the basis for the fund balance that's reported in the audit statement. The town does not have those details. The town records the transactions at a high level based on the warrants and the deposit activity. And at the end of the month, I reconcile my balance to the school's balance to make sure that we're in sync. But at all times, the details are maintained on the school's accounting ledger. cannot provide that information. They have it.
Thank you, Mary Alice. So from what I understand, just to summarize, and I'll go to the council for additional questions. The school has access to all accounts relating to the school. Okay. The town has not withheld any financial information relevant to the school budget. In fact, from my understanding, you supplied information almost a month ago to help reiterate the point that over $200,000 that was budgeted is not available, and there was no response.
I have supplied whatever I have responded to email requests. I have done whatever I can. As far as information goes, I've answered questions, but as far as the details to the school's transactions go, that it resides with the school.
Thank you, Mary Alice and Mr. Manager, for answering those questions. Does any counselor have any question or comment for the manager on this issue? Counselor Pelletier?
Yes. I would suggest that possibly the school call in the auditor to help them audit their budget and see if their numbers are really correct.
Thank you, Counselor Pelletier. Any other council comment or question? Counselor Madore?
I guess I'm just a little bit confused as to what the school is referencing as far as the general fund balance for the school. I don't really know what that is as such. I thought all fund balances like that become part of any carryover like that happens and is held in like an escrow for them for the next year's budget. Am I right?
The school's fund balance is restricted. It can only be used for education. And that is reported on the financial statements. It's not like you're going to go, it's not like we have a bank account that has this for the school's fund balance. As the manager reported, we have one bank account, and in the audit report designates how that money is classified. And a piece of that money is classified as restricted for school education. The problem is that when we have the audit report is compiled to report a balance as of June 30th, 2021 in this case. But what has to be taken into consideration is that on July 1st of 2021, we're in a new fiscal year, in a new budget period, and if we're using any carry forward, that it's included in that balance. And again, it's a reporting issue, format issue that changed between, with the change of the auditors, and not, like I said, communication as far as what, if there had been any of that money already designated for other purposes for the school.
I was concerned, even though I didn't quite understand at the time, but I think I get it now, that there was a general fund balance for the school department as a standalone account that they weren't allowed to get access to, the way I was reading it in the emails. That's not the case.
The school's money, the school's fund balance is restricted for education.
Yes.
And that's why it is reported that way. And the access to that money, if you will, is a mechanism of the council ultimately approving the school's budget. And then throughout the year, the school board approving warrants for expenditures. That's the flow.
Okay, so one last thing. So their bookkeeper at the school would have access to the numbers that the superintendent is looking for on a daily, that be drawn up on on a daily basis?
I'm not sure what the superintendent's looking for, but the bookkeeper would have access to the transaction details of those financial transactions, and the audit report is reviewed by the school administration prior to the auditors issuing it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Dorr. You say you don't know what the superintendent is inquiring about. Could you speak to that?
Well, I mean, I have explained just for what I'm aware of the May 17 question about the bookkeeper having access to the general fund, and I replied to the superintendent at that time, copying the bookkeeper and the manager, and I explained basically what we've talked about here, the flow of the school's transactions, and that all of the transactions were at the school. So I never had any follow-up questions that I'm aware of. And so for this to come up now about not having access to the general fund, I don't know what else he is looking for.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, any from the public? We'll go back to the manager's report. Seeing none, back to the council. Any?
There's either clap or hands up.
Tama, do you have your hands up?
We do. 23, and I just want to say that there was publicly a meeting with the manager and the treasurer and the bookkeeper and the superintendent not too long ago, and unfortunately the treasurer couldn't be there. That may have been a bigger help. There does seem to be quite a lack of communication, and that would be helpful if there could be a meeting set up again that she could be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kama. Mr. Manager?
Yes, what Ms. Mishu said is accurate. There was a meeting recently. It was on the topic of the international program. It was not on this topic that we're speaking of right now. And it's very true. We were planning that the treasurer was able to join us that day, but was unavailable due to an appointment. I'm always welcoming of a meeting and available to talk. I would certainly welcome the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any other public comment? Sandra Sullivan?
Sandra Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. So if I am understanding this, then the sheet that we were given with the school budget at the last meeting that had the $595 carryover, that can no longer
There's a cost of change included as well.
what? Thank you. But that can no longer be considered as being accurate, and we should be getting some updated.
Thank you, Sandra, for asking that. And for those of you who didn't hear on Zoom, because we had to switch out a microphone, Sandra Sullivan asked if the $595,000 roughly of the carryover that was in the school budget presented to us at a previous meeting, if that would no longer be valid, if I understood the question correctly. You are correct. $203,000 roughly dollars of that is what we're speaking to, has already been assigned to this current year's budget. Therefore, it's not available. So there's already a huge discrepancy in the budget. We need that resolved in order to approve a balanced budget. Thank you for your question. Any other public comment? And seeing none, back to the council on the manager's report. Any comment on that, Councilor Madore?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Cool. All right, let's see if we can get it back on. No, I'm on. I did? No, I'm on. Lisa Green says I am. Yeah. All righty. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to comment on the last item on the manager's report, which basically is the unfortunate incident that happened not just a few days ago within the town of Millinocket. And I'd like to go ahead and offer a sincere apology, not only to the town manager and staff here at the town office, who've had to field a lot of angry comments and innuendo, but I also would like to go ahead and give my deepest sympathies to the other agency in the community which also suffered greatly because of a misunderstanding of or a misrepresentation of who it was that was the instigator of the incident, I guess. So to the Millinocket Insurance Agency, I'd like to say I feel deeply for you and what you've had to go through the last few days and your family. It is unfortunate that we mention a lot of times of how dropping a pebble into a puddle has a ripple effect as it goes out and affects so many other things. And I believe this is an example of that as the negative. Drop the pebble in, and unfortunately that ripple has affected other businesses, other members of the community, our town, and everybody in a negative light. And it all comes from one careless, and I'll use that term, act that I just want to tell those people who have been going through a lot in the last 24 to 48 hours that I feel for you, I'm deeply sorry for you, and I hope that this goes over quickly for you so that you can resume your normal life without the misrepresentation or the misunderstanding that comes from this. With that, I'll say thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. Councilor Prey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up a little bit what Councilor Madore just commented on. And before I do that, I want to give an personal expression of appreciation to the work that the Millinocket Event Committee and Councilor Bragdon have done in recognition of the upcoming festivities celebrating our Independence Day. The comments or the incident that came up, I think, was callous in some ways. I don't think it was fully appreciated by the individual that posted it, but I don't think it was as mean-spirited as it took off with the social media that we have today, that it basically traveled around the world in a day. As you all know, I've spent a fair amount of time in Washington, D.C., and I have a lot of friends still down there. I probably received a dozen responses that they caught it on NPR, National Public Radio, and other places, without the full disclosure of what the actual facts were to that. I think if the business hadn't been closed and it had been brought to the attention, it probably would have been removed much sooner. I think the apology that came out of the person posting it would have come out much sooner, but it clearly showed callousness in being posted in the first place. So it does deserve attention in that factor. But as we come into this coming week and celebrate the American independence, I hope people can take a new attention and understand the history that's behind the holiday, the Juneteenth holiday, and what it means to the country as a whole. America has been known as the melting pot. We've, from the very beginning, have attracted people from all over obviously the European section, but the development of the southern part of the country was done by a lot of Hispanics, nations from Europe and around the world, and of course we continuously grown. There were African Americans in the Jamestown settlement, right from the very beginning of establishment in the northern half of Americas. An appreciation for the diversity and the culture that we talk about. The American melting pot is what strengthens us as the world shrinks. The advent of people still rushing to America for the freedom and stuff that we offer is something that strengthens the nation. It should not divide the nation. So hopefully everybody will get out and enjoy the 4th and appreciate the little lesson that was taught here this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bray. Any other council comments? Seeing none, I'll just add that I appreciate the manager for releasing the information that was on the Freedom of Information request. I do hope that the public can also appreciate our transparency in that regard. It includes emails, documentation of all sorts for a very long period regarding communications between the school and the town. Those are all factual, and I hope that the public can appreciate that we've released them, and we'll look at them and hopefully come to a good conclusion. And any comment from the public on the manager's report? Kama?
Ellen Issue 20 New York Street. I just wanted to ask the council to consider letting either the superintendent, school board chair, or school board in total to be part of the interview process for the school board members. It wasn't allowed at the last time, and the charter was cited. But as I stated earlier, prior to that, Mr. Jameson, who was our school board chair, was allowed to recommend somebody to be on the school board chair at the prior time. So it would just be the decent thing to do. It would show some good communication and some helpfulness in being part of the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Kama, for your comment. We'll allow the full council to respond to that if I don't speak on behalf of the full council. For a board to choose its own members without an election seems to be problematic. Although the board is more than welcome to advocate or provide any kind of feedback, just as anyone from the public is welcome to the council on our decision-making process. The school board has never in its history, to my understanding, had any role in appointing its own members, just as the council does not appoint its own members as well. If I left anything out, Councilor Madore?
Yeah, this process has come up a few times just in the last dozen or so years that I've been a counselor. And we've always followed the charter to the letter, and the council is the designation or the body that interviews, recommends, and votes to place people on the school board for unexpired terms. It works that way for a reason. It is, as the chairman just said, there's no body or whatever that votes for its own board. So this shouldn't be. Now, if the school board or whatever would like to make a recommendation as far as a candidate is concerned, or write a letter of support or whatever to the council, why a certain person should be considered, then by all means, that would be appreciated or looked for favorably. But as far as being involved as part of the process of actually selecting the candidate, that responsibility falls on the council. It has happened on many an occasion, and it's always worked out fairly well to the positive, I believe. We honestly don't have to look much further than the present school board chairman, who was appointed by the council for an unexpired term to start his sitting on the school board. So I think we do a pretty good job of it. With that, I'll say thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. Any other council response? Seeing none. Any other public comment? Jesse Dumais, name and address, please.
Jesse Dumais, 10 Somerset Street, Millinocket, Maine. Oh, I can't speak on every taxpayer out there, but I'd like to think that, I'd like to remind the council and the school board that y'all are employees of elected officials, of taxpayers. And this digging in your heels, and I know I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna fall on deaf ears, because as far as I can remember, when I served on the council and when I was paying attention before that, school board, town council, for whatever reason, can never seem to get their stuff together when it comes to getting together. Part of the same community, but you guys are playing for two different teams. It seems that way. So, guys gotta stop digging in your heels. And I say this for the benefit of the public out there that probably feel, there's gotta be somebody else that feels this way. We're paying this monies, we're paying exuberant prices on everything else, and yeah, I know there's gonna be an expected amount of wasted time being on the council and municipal practices and stuff like that, but this is getting crazy. We're spinning our wheels, we're not getting any further. We got a declining school department, declining town that we're all trying to resurrect and refurbish and everything. We keep talking about miscommunication and miss this and miss that, when really it's not that hard. It's really not that hard, guys.
Thank you for your comments, Jesse. Certainly many people in the community must feel the way that you do, and I appreciate you bringing that to the council. I hope that through the information that's provided from us, it will become very clear what type of relationship that we're trying to have with the school, and the communication that we're trying to have will be apparent to the public, and the response that we've gotten from that attempt. I don't think there's any point in finger pointing at this stage. Resolving things is, I think, everyone's goal. I think I can speak for everyone on that. Resolving things requires being transparent, and it requires good communication. And we have, from my personal experience, we have done a very good job at addressing things as they come, trying to resolve them internally so that it does not become a public spectacle. And unfortunately, we're where we're at. We are where we are at now. I would ask the public to please thoroughly review what is going to be published by the manager at the council's request. Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment? Diana?
Hi there. I just wanted to address the Juneteenth incident. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
So I just wanted to thank the town for their swift response. I've actually been pleasantly surprised at how adamantly the community has spoken out against what happened. I've observed some things in the past where that has not been the case. But I just wanted to say I would caution against the narrative of it's just one bad apple and these views don't reflect anyone else in this community. I don't think these beliefs come from nowhere. They are learned. And I think we still have a lot of learning to do as a community about how we fight racism, how we fight our history of colonization and white supremacy. In the more subtle ways, we're an extremely white community, and I think that gives us an extra responsibility to do this work, and that's going to go beyond statements. So I do understand your frustration with the divisiveness, and I think social media really exacerbates that, but I just want to center the learning, the teachable moment, the continuing the conversation, and not just worrying about how it's perceived in the media. So thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Diana, for that input. I know that other members of the community have commented on our statement on Facebook with suggestions as to next steps to deal with these types of issues, and I know as a council that we take those seriously, and we are always open to hearing how we can represent the community in a better light and in a way that creates real change amongst our population. Teachable moments, as you said, Diana. Thank you very much for your comment. Any other public comment? Yes, please. Name and address.
Alice Hartley, once again, member of the Unorganized Territories.
Yes, you can speak.
I'm wondering if what Kama Mishu is asking, if perhaps they could be involved in the interview process, definitely not the appointment process, but maybe the interview process, thinking they would have a better idea, maybe what questions to ask or something. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. That was understood when Kama suggested that. And as I stated, I feel it's not appropriate for a board to be a part of the process, whether it's the appointment itself or the interview process itself, of its own members. That could pose an issue, just as we would not appoint our own members of the council as well. That is how it's stated in our charter. Councilor Bragdon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Diana, do you have a comment, or are you all set? I see your hand is still raised. No, I didn't know if she had put it up when it was down.
Oh, no, I think it's been
Okay. Those who are posting comments in the chat, we are no longer reading the chat comments, just for those that are aware. So if you would like to make a comment, you would have to turn on your mic and address the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bragdon. Councilor Prey?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to respond to Alice's comment, and I think I heard that we would love to have them any questions that they would like to have us look at or things that we looked at. We'd be interested in hearing from the school board or the superintendent as to what they would like to have us consider when we're trying to pick somebody. I also think, and it's kind of part of the process of elected positions, such as school board, even town councilor, that a lot of people run for office with very little idea or understanding of what the full responsibility of serving in those positions. We don't have requirements. All somebody has to do is collect a certain number of signatures and turn them in. We used to have either the Chamber of Commerce or the one of the other social organizations would host a candidates night and have an opportunity to have people talk. We've kind of gotten away from that as the town has decreased in population and stuff like that. I've attended a lot of those in the old days and listened to a lot of people running and talk about things that didn't affect running for the council or running for the school board, and we're talking about they're running for something that isn't really part of what that obligation and responsibility is. So hearing from the school board members, if they have specific things they'd like to have us look at, I'm interested in hearing from them. But I also agree that I think it's kind of because we're appointing to somebody to that board, it isn't like, I'm going to use the national scheme. We wouldn't have the Supreme Court sit in with the U.S. Senate to decide what type of questions and what they would be looking for in a candidate, or even the Senate or the House and so forth, or the legislature. So I'm interested in hearing from them, but I do think it's a decision, because as Councilor Madore again pointed out, it's what the charter says, that the council will fill those vacancies, or can fill those vacancies, or leave them vacant until the next election. I do think that currently, as Councilor Madore also pointed out, the chair of the school board was appointed by the council, and we currently have another member, so 2/3 of the existing remaining 3 members were appointed by the council. And one of the ones that resigned had been appointed by the council. Sorry to see the 2 ladies resign. I wish it hadn't come to that. But I do think it should stay here, and that will be remedied in November by whomever wants to run for it. It's only for another 5 months. Thank you.
Thank you, that was a kind response, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Prey, and thank you for bringing that to our attention as well. Any other public comment on the manager's report? And seeing none? We are now entering into a couple of public hearings. Councilor Pelletier, if I could have you read order number 136, 2022, please.
Certainly. Order number 136-2022, providing for public hearing. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council enter into a public hearing for discussion on FY23 municipal and wastewater budgets.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Madore. All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman.
And Councilor McEwen, seeing him on Zoom here. Are you in favor?
Does that change to a roll call?
Yeah. Oh, I want to see if he's frozen or not.
He is disconnected.
Councilor McEwen, you in favor of a public hearing?
We are also.
Yes, you can hear me. Sorry, my internet just went back out. Came back good.
Thank you. Councilor Prey? Just going to do a roll call. Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Chairman Goley, aye. Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
We're now in a public hearing. This is our second municipal and wastewater hearing for our budget. We had a thorough discussion this past week on this and prior workshops as well. So this is mostly a review and to get public input before we go to our orders to accept the budget. I'm going to start on page 1 of 6 of the revenue, which is also up on the screen, and I'll go page by page. If there's any comment from the council, and then I'll go to the public as well for each page. So page 1 of 6 on revenue, Department 101 General Government, 103 Elections and Registrations, and 104 Town Clerk's Department. Any comment from the council? Councilor Prey?
Mr. Chairman, do I understand that
Your mic's not on.
I apologize. I again was in Vancouver for medical appointments earlier, so I understood that we had an update on revenues from the main revenue services. We did not. I may have misunderstood that. Okay.
Well, I mean, we did not budget for entirely what the last update was on main revenue. Have they lowered it, or?
Well, I guess that's,
Your mic's still off.
that may be what I'm talking about. That was the additional 75,000.
On the main, no,
On what we're over currently?
well, we budgeted 1.3 for main revenue sharing, and that is lower than what the last reported estimate was that I had seen.
Okay. Thank you.
And what we did is we increased the transfer from fund balance to basically buffer that, so that should they meet their goal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Councilor Madore?
Yeah, I think
revenues.
that may come in later, that may be added to the budget at a later date, but for right now, the 750 moved over still leaves us solvent for the coming year.
Well, it's going to, I mean, we're down below we're down below the 3 million. However, if you look at what we have received over and above what we had budgeted for this year, we took 100,000, I believe, out of that for the assessor reval. We've still got, there's a buffer. That right there goes a long ways towards covering this transfer.
Thank you, Councilman Medora. Mary Alice. Any other comment from the council? Page 1. Mr. Manager?
I would just like to add a fun fact. The line payment in lieu of taxes, there's been some recent commercial properties held by nonprofits that have changed hands to LLCs, which are now taxed. So we may be seeing some change in that line, down the road as we commit taxes and work out those new situations. So, good news.
That was fun, thank you. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, moving on to page 2. Departments 107 Assessing, 108 Municipal Building, 114 Planning Code Development, and 115 Economic Development. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, moving on to page 3. Department 201 Police Department, 203 Fire Department, and 204 Ambulance. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, moving on to page 4 of 6. Department 209 Insurances, Department 300 Fringe Benefits, 402 Public Works Administration, 407 Public Works Roads and Construction, and 409 Transfer Site. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none. Page 5, Department 815 General Assistance, 816 Public Health Welfare Agency, 902 Cemetery, 1002 Recreation, and 1009 Snow Sled and ATV Program. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none. Moving on to page 6. Department 1101 Airport Operations, 1102 Airport Business, 1106 Holiday Observation and Events, 1300 Capital Improvements, 1301 Special Capital Improvements. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none. We will move on to the Municipal Expense, page 1 of 2020, or 1 of 22. Department 101 General Government. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none. Page 2. Department 103 Elections and Registrations, 104 Town Clerk's Department. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none. Page 3, Department 107 Assessing. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none. Page 4, Department 108 Municipal Building, 109 Audit, 111 Legal Expenses. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Councilor Prey.
Called on legal services, and we've flat funding that. We've got 2 potential cases that was determined to be sufficient with the carryover. Obviously, we didn't, not carryover, but that we haven't spent as much in the last year, so with the lawsuit coming in, basically be handled by the insurance industry and not our legal counsel, so no necessity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bray. That is correct. Any comment from the public? Seeing none. Page 5, Department 112 Administration. Any comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Moving on to page 6, Department 114 Planning Code Development. Any comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 7, Department 115 Economic Development, 118 Community Initiatives Director. Any comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 8, Department 201 Police Department 202 DARE Program. Any comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 9, Department 205 Fire and Ambulance General. Any comment from the council? Speaking to the manager, this did include the last budget hearings variation that we chose. Any comment from the council? This does include that. Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 10, Department 203, Fire Department. Comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 11, Department 204, Ambulance. Comment from the council? And the public? Seeing none. Page 12, Department 206, Community Services, 209, Insurances, 213, Enforcement Officials. Comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 13, Department 214, Dog Constable, and 300 Fringe Benefits. Comment from the council? That of the public? Seeing none. Page 14, Department 402, Public Works Administration, 403, Garage Maintenance. Comment from the council? And from the public? Seeing none. Page 15, Department 407, Public Works, Roads and Construction. Comments from the council? From the public? Seeing none. Page 16, Department 409, Transfer Site. Comment from the council? From the public? Seeing none. Page 17, Department 501, Library, and 700, Debt and Interest. Comment from the council? From the public? Seeing none. Page 18, Department 815, General Assistance, 816, Public Health Welfare Agency. Comment from the council? And from the public? Seeing none. Page 19, Department 902, Cemetery. Comment from the council? Seeing none. That of the public? Also seeing none. Page 20, Department 1002, Recreation, 1009, Snow Sled and ATV Program. Comment from the council?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Madore?
For the recreation, I asked this before, it was more on the capital line, but I'm asking this again. Have we discussed the replacement of the fence on the Little League playground? Has there been any adjustments to the budget for that expense?
Not specifically. That can be covered by this budget if it needs to be under buildings and grounds. The capital budget. Thank you, Mary Alice, for helping me answer that question. There has been some recent interest from, I would say, a majority of the council in playground improvements, things like that, to be handled with ARPA funds. So we have some flexibility.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council Fedor. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none. Page 21, Department 1101, Airport Operations, 1102, Airport Business. Comment from the council? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none. Page 22, Department 1106, Holiday Observation and Events, 1300, Capital Improvements, 1301, Special Capital Improvements, 1201, County Tax. Any comment from the council?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Madore.
Under Department 1106, Holiday Observation and Events, under line 7012 Events, I know we had put $2,000 in there. Given the climate for it and try to help out a little bit more as far as events in the community, I'd like to move that line up to 3,000.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion from the council.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Prey.
is that going to be enough?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Bragdon.
Yes.
It's never enough.
It is enough for this year. It will cover all of the 4th of July costs that we have expected for the 4th of July plus some. So we are planning to use more for some fall events that are coming soon. So this is a great help.
If I may. I raise that because we're obviously trying to do more and more events. We've got the canoe, the spring runoff on Millnocket Stream Race, and I think we should be doing a bigger event calendar of getting the word out of these types of activities. I would like to know if there would be interest of perhaps of doing $5,000. We know we're getting additional revenues in. I'd like to see greater activity in advance. Obviously, I think the event committee is doing a good job. They've done a great job on the canoe race and so forth, but I think we need to get more promotion out there, and I would think that we would kind of put some of that money in this category for these types of activities and try to get a greater crowd in that will clearly pay back the community.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Councilor Madore, then Bragdon.
Yeah, under the consideration of wanting to go ahead and do something like that, and even though the manager is flagging down like trying to stop a runaway train, I will withdraw my motion of 3,000.
Withdraw my second.
Mr. Manager, did you have something to add?
I fully appreciate that. Point I wanted to make was recently the Community Initiatives Director and I have been attempting to introduce a summer movie series in our park. The hurdle that we're up against is proper licensing to be able to show those movies. What we're finding is that can be from between $250 and $350 per showing for up to 200 people. An increase in that would allow us to offer some more events in that line, smaller local events as well, to be able to offer. You know, this specific idea is a movie series in the park, which we already have the equipment for. The hurdle is the permitting and the copyright aspects of it. So that would certainly allow us to be able to offer a few of those as well.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. And to Councilor Prey's point of the return on investment, so to speak, I know there's figures out there of the economic impact of the town of just the marathon, one event alone. Does anyone have that figure off the top of their head roughly? I believe it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of the impact that it has on the local economy. As Councilor Prey pointed out, the events committee has been doing a great job at putting together not only events for people locally, but to draw people in to benefit the local economy. and hearing even more improvements in that area from the manager, I would be more than happy to see that line be raised even higher than 5,000, probably closer to 10. This isn't really a bidding war, I understand that's going on here, but just to make, I bring that up because to have to pull from other accounts that have already been budgeted for other purposes, just in my view, doesn't make sense. We have already laid the groundwork of the proven return that we have from just one event. This canoe race was exceptional. It brought in hundreds of people. About 90-something people themselves were actually included in the race. 96 people, exact. And all those that they came with, the hotels that they stayed in, the businesses that they visited, the food that they ate. Just that one event, I think, is worth an investment from our end of $10,000. Not saying that we will put the $10,000 towards that, but clearly with the many other events that can stem from that small budget, the return will be pretty excellent. That's my view. Councilor Bragdon, then Pray.
I am not participating in the bidding war. I wanted to comment from Councilor Pray's comment that he had made, a project that I had started 2 years ago independently. I have brought the events committee to have an event sign similar to Lincoln. When you first pull into Lincoln, they have that sign right at the stoplight that says everything that's going on. I have brought this to the events committee, and Amber and Peter have been a great help in getting this going so we can get some funding for it. So we are working on ways on getting the word out to be more progressive with the community. So those are in the works. Obviously, it takes time and money, but those are definitely in the works. We do plan on hosting, as with our mission statement that we submitted, one event per month, whether it be sponsored or actually held by the events committee. So there is more to come, but obviously there's a lot of planning and timing involved, so the money does definitely make a definite help. But there is plenty more to come in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bragdon. Councilor Danforth, then Pray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm fully in favor of the amount that we want to put in that amount, in that line. I want to make it, I don't know, I want to make it known, but also there's lots of committees within the town working on that, so I wouldn't expect this money just to sit within the events committee. You know, for instance, the age-friendly committees had the Katahdin Snow Down. We've done it 2 years in a row. We had grant funds to launch that event. We no longer have grant funds for this coming year. So as long as there's an understanding that you're going to share that pool of money, that we can work on that, then I will vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Danforth. Councilor Pray.
I'm nervous of a bidding war.
Doing 15.
And I was going to make the motion in many, many years ago. Most people who have been from the town knows Wally Delahanty, Recreation Director at one time. By the way, Peter's grandfather. The activities that used to go on used to kind of be a combination of the town and the chamber. Obviously, we now have a regional chamber, some of that's gone up. But I think the advantage of not necessarily getting it too large, I think over time, it will, I'm a little nervous about making it too large, but it's not a large amount of money compared to what we're spending in all the activities that are going on. I think going from 2 to 5 or even 7,500 and a challenge to the community and to the businesses to try to come up and do a match, we might be able to raise $10,000 to $15,000 for event activities, of which we give those businesses credit. A number of years ago, I'm a life member of the VFW, and the VFW was facing financial difficulties staying operating, and of course, which eventually went under. One of the activities that we did that I came up with was a T-shirt thanking our veterans and putting businesses listing on the back. And we more than paid for the T-shirts just for the advertisement. we're going to do events, we can reach out to local businesses and say, you know, we're going to do these things. We'd like to have your support, and we'll give you credit either in any brochures that we print of the activity, the July 4th. I'm a firm believer, if you're going to print something on both sides. You're wasting that whole backside. Any businesses that want to contribute and help, we could list these are businesses that are supporting these activities, type of thing. That way we're making a partnership with the community to promote the community. So my motion would be that we do, I move that we put $7,500 into this account for promotion of activities.
Looking for a second.
Mr. Chairman.
There is no second. Therefore, the motion dies. Councilor Madore?
And just one thing I want to bring up. I'm all in favor of going ahead and going to events and going to 10,000. What I don't want to do is, because you mentioned, Councilor Danforth, one thing in particular. Now, there's Kids Day, there is the Trails End Festival, there are other things that could also take away from that events money, because there would also be, you know, things going on within the community. What I would offer, $10,000 in the events account. We also used to have a line, and correct me if I'm, you know, I know I'm not wrong, so don't look at me with your eyebrows raised up. We had a contribution line, which organizations or whatever came to the town of Millinocket looking for donations or contributions or things to help out because I think what you're talking about would fall under the contribution line rather than on the events line. I really don't want to see that pull. I don't want to see that events money pulled in all different directions. I'd rather go ahead and have two separate things and have a contribution line and the events line separately.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. And just to add to my earlier point, based on what's been said thus far, the council ultimately approves any expenditure of these funds. So with committees making recommendations, we can still have the council review the overall suggestions from each of the committees. If we have slightly more budgeted this year, we might be able to consider some of the other committees, as Councilor Danforth pointed out. Councilor Danforth?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just do want to clarify the event that I spoke about falls under our age-friendly committee. It would not be a donation to another organization to run that particular event. It falls under the town. And there's a lot of other events through our age-friendly committee and work plan that, you know, community events like this would fall under. And I know Councilor Bragdon is working on a downtown farmers market, community market sort of thing. That's part of age-friendly work too. So there's a lot of things that are overlapping from different committee events. So I'm fine with it staying in that one line.
Thank you, Councilor Danforth. Any other council comment? Councilor Bragdon?
Just adding on to Councilor Danforth's point, the age-friendly committee has been a great help in planning some of these events. So there is no problem sharing, and if I'm not mistaken, we did sponsor the Snowdown event, so I would have no problem doing stuff to help out as much as I can with the events committee. So absolutely, and as you stated, it stays right within local committees, so it's not like it's going to an outside organization.
Mr. Manager?
Just real quick, to the point that Councilor Madore had made regarding other organizations and groups throughout the town. I recently had a conversation with Chris McDonald, who runs the Little Giants football program here in Millinocket. They had approached me with a request to help replace many helmets that had to be taken out of the rotation due to safety concerns. And you know, it's a $2,700 bill. Having some available funds to be able to help in these situations would be great. I would love to be able to help them with that. I understand it is above and beyond the usual amount that is donated to these things. To my knowledge, we have not contributed to that program financially in the past. And I understand that it is a great program that feeds our high school football program very well and has been rejuvenated and built up with incredible energy. That is just an example of the requests that we would see from that, which I had received recently, and would love to help them if there is money available in a line.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Typically, that's handled through an order for that line item that we can review as a council. Unless any other council has anything to add to that. We usually don't budget for specific requests from an organization. We pass an order when there is a request. Did you have anything else to add to that, though?
Nothing beyond that. I understand. I was simply giving an example to respond to a point that Councilor Madore had made.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any other? Yeah, Councilor Madore?
For the sake of moving on, I'd like to make a motion that we amend line 7012 events to $10,000.
Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Jeff?
Jeff Campbell, Airport Manager. COVID being the exception, this would be our 16th, so it's actually our 15th year is running an event at the airport. We have a fly-in car show there every fall, Columbus weekend. Basically been organized by myself and with a great bunch of help from Pioneer Hose Company at the fire department doing the cooking. I would love to get on the radar of the events committee for some help in promoting that a little further and so forth. It's usually a very well-attended event at the airport that happens in the fall. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Councilor Bragdon?
Jeff, I actually had plans to come out and meet with you about said event, but that is being considered. It was mentioned at the last events committee meeting. The things that are being brought forth, if anybody does have a suggestion for events, I highly recommend that they come to the events committee meetings. We are now meeting in person. So I highly recommend if anybody wants to do an event that has been suggested or wants an event sponsored, they please come to the meetings. That would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Councilor Bragdon. And Jeff, that is a fantastic event that you've put on along with the help of the fire department and others. Thank you very much for keeping that going for as long as you have. And as you heard from Councilor Bragdon, certainly open to assist you with that. Thank you. Any other public comment? Chief Malcolm?
Tom Malcolm, 73 School Street. As having done the events committee for a number of years, I want to applaud you for this. We've struggled with money issues, as Councilor Madore knows, as Councilor Bragdon knows, to keep these events going. You know, we need to invest money in our community and to keep these events, you know, age-friendly events, Jeff's event, there's a numerous number of them. Then, if you want to do something for outside organizations, that should be separate. But I think that this events committee is the way to go, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm. Any other public comment? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, and roll call. Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Abstain.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Order passes 601. Not the order, excuse me, the amendment. And I'm assuming that'll be reflected in the order that we'd be passing. So if we get to that, if you wouldn't mind flagging us down, and thank you. Yeah, thank you, Councilor. With that, moving on to the 5-year capital plan. Any comment from the council on the 5-year capital plan? And seeing none, out of the public. Just a thank you to the East Millinocket Police who came to sit with us here. Much appreciated. Thank you. Seeing none. Moving on. To the wastewater. Revenue. Department 2100 wastewater admin, 2500 wastewater pump stations. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none. And to wastewater expense, page 1 of 3, Department 2100 wastewater administration and 2200 wastewater protection. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none. Page 2, Department 2400 wastewater operations and 2500 wastewater pump stations. Any comment from the council? Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none. And page 3, Department 2600 wastewater collection, 2700 wastewater debt service, and 2800 wastewater capital improvement. Any comment from the council? And out of the public. Also seeing none. Just on behalf of the council, before we close this first public hearing, or second public hearing, a huge thank you to all of the staff of the town of Millinocket, all the departments, manager, treasurer, for putting this all together and dealing with our many conversations to make changes to make your life that much more enjoyable. Very much appreciated. Thank you all. Unless there's any other comment, that will conclude our second public hearing. Seeing none. Councilor Braden, if I could have you read order number 137, 2022, please.
Order number 137-2022, providing for a public hearing. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council enter into public hearing to discuss the fiscal year 2023 school budget.
Point of order.
Councilor Pelletier.
Are we supposed to vote on that last order?
That was not an order, that was a public hearing. The orders are following this first public hearing that we would vote on each department.
I thought this was the second one.
Thank you, Councilor Pelletier. There was a motion, is there a second? And seeing none, the public hearing fails. Councilor Madore, if I could have you read order number 138, 2022, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Order 138-2022, providing for general administration. It is ordered that 986,604. Oh, Matt, I thought you were.
Sorry. Keep going.
Oh, sure. All right. You're good. Yeah, you got the next one. It is ordered that $986,604 is hereby raised and appropriated, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the general administration departments of Millinocket as listed below for the fiscal year 2023. General administration, 101 general government, $369,554. 103 elections and registration, $9,124. 104 town clerks, $251,176. 107 assessing, $75,600. 108 municipal building, $70,500. 109 audit, $16,000. 111 legal services, $100,000. 112 administration, $83,885, and line 300 fringe, $10,765, for a total of $986,604.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Bragg. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, all those in favor, Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Chair Gully, aye. Council Madore.
Aye.
Council Bragdon.
Aye.
Council Pelletier.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. For the sake of time, I move that all future readings of orders 139, 2022, following up to 155, 2022, read the it is ordered and just the totals.
Second.
Motion by Chair Goulart, second by Councilor Madore. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goulart, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. And with that, Councilor McEwen, if I could have you read order number 139, 2022, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 139-2022, providing for community and economic development. It is ordered that $209,927 is hereby raised and appropriated, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the community and economic development departments of Millinocket, as listed below for the fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Community and economic development, total $209,927.
Motion by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goulart, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Danforth, if I could have read order number 140, 2022, please.
Yes, order number 140-2022, providing for public safety and protection. It is ordered that $2,494,188 is hereby raised and appropriated in the order, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the public safety and protection departments of Millinocket as listed below for the fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Danforth, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goulart, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Cray, if I could have read order number 141, 2022,
Order
please.
number 141-2022, providing for Public Works and Airport Department. It is ordered that $2,131,326 hereby raised and appropriated, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the Public Works and Airport Departments of Millinocket as listed below for the fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Cray, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goulart, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Pelletier, if I could have you read order number 142, 2022, please.
Order number 142-2022. It is ordered that $414,785 hereby raised and appropriated for the officers and authorized to spend said amount to and recreational services departments of Millinocket as listed below for the fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Cray. Discussion of the council, just noting to the public that number changed as the change that we had voted on in the public hearing. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Abstain.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goulart, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 6-0-1. Councilor Bragdon, if I could have read order number 143, 2022, please.
Order number 143-2022, providing for debt and interest. It is ordered that $139,562 is hereby raised and appropriated, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the debt services and interest department of Millinocket as listed below for the fiscal year of 2023.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier. Aye. Counselor Bragdon? Aye. Counselor Fedor?
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Danforth?
Aye.
Counselor Cray?
Aye.
Counselor McEwen?
Aye.
Passes 7-0. And Counselor McEwen, if I could have a read order number 144, 2022, please.
Just a note, because I probably papered it, it is order 144, not 145.
144, correct.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 144-2022, providing for capital improvement department. It is ordered that $633,500 is hereby raised and appropriated, and the officers are authorized to spend said amount for the capital improvements department of Millinocket, as listed below for the fiscal year 2023, total $633,500.
Second.
Motion by Counselor McEwen, seconded by Counselor Danforth. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Counselor Pelletier.
Aye.
Counselor Medor.
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Danforth.
Aye.
Counselor Cray.
Aye.
Counselor McEwen.
Aye.
And Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Very well done. Passes 7-0. Counselor Danforth, if I could have you read order number 145, 2022, please.
Yes, order number 145-2022, providing for anticipated revenues and transfers. It is ordered that the overall anticipated revenues and transfers in the estimated amount of $4,881,955 is approved, and the officers are authorized to spend for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Danforth, seconded by Counselor Fedor. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Counselor Pelletier.
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Counselor Fedor.
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Danforth.
Aye.
Counselor Cray.
Aye.
Counselor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Counselor Cray, if I could have read order number 146, 2022.
Order number 146-2022, providing for a transfer of funds from designated dog fee revenue reserve account for the care of animals. It is ordered that $4,655 be transferred from the designated dog fee revenue reserve account into the general fund budget for FY23 to provide for the eligible cost in the care of animals.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Cray, seconded by Counselor Fedor. Discussion to council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Counselor Pelletier.
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Counselor Fedor.
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Danforth.
Aye.
Counselor Cray.
Aye.
Counselor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Counselor Cray, if I could have, or Counselor Pelletier, excuse me, can I have you read order number 147, 2022, please?
Order 147-2022, providing for transfer of funds from fund balance account. It is ordered that $750,000 be transferred from the assigned fund balance into the general fund budget for fiscal year 23.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Pelletier, seconded by Counselor Fedor. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Counselor Pelletier.
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Counselor Medor.
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Danforth.
Aye.
Counselor Cray.
Aye.
Counselor McEwen.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. Counselor Bragdon, if I could have you read order number 148, 2022, please.
Order number 148-2022, providing for authorization for county tax. It is ordered that $296,979 is hereby raised and appropriated and to authorize the officers to spend for 1201 county tax assessment for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Bragdon, seconded by Counselor Fedor. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Counselor McEwen.
Aye.
Counselor Cray.
Aye.
Counselor Danforth.
Aye.
Chair Gulli, aye. Counselor Medor.
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Counselor Pelletier.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Counselor McEwen, if I could have you read order number 149, 2022, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 149-2022, providing for acceptance of state of Maine funds. It is ordered that the Town of Millinocket Town Finance Director and Town Treasurer is authorized to accept, and such acceptance is deemed to have been appropriated revenues and/or subsidies for the ensuing fiscal year. Such funds as municipal revenue sharing funds, local road assessment program, general purpose aid to education, civil emergency funds, snowmobile registration money, tree growth reimbursement, general assistance reimbursement, veteran exemption reimbursement, Homestead Act reimbursement, state and federal grants and aid, and other state of Maine funds are available at a future date and to authorize the officer to spend said sums. These monies are currently anticipated in the above revenue order and allows the town to accept these monies for use with FY 2023 proposed budget. Acceptance of any new monies will be authorized only by council order.
Second. Motion by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to council. All those in favor, Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Councilor Prey.
Aye.
Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Danforth, if I could have read order number 150, 2022, please.
Yes, happy to, Mr. Chairman. The correct one isn't up on the screen, though, may I add? Yeah. Order number 150-2022, providing for a written policy concerning disbursement of state fees. Whereas Title 30-A, Section
Mr. Chairman, I move that
5603.
she dispense with further reading of the whereases and just do the there now for it as ordered.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Madore. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Nay.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Prey.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Nay.
Passes 6-2. Councilor Danforth, continue. 5-2, thank you.
Now therefore, it is ordered that the following written adopted concerning the disbursement of state fees. Number 1, the treasurer shall prepare a warrant weekly to disburse state fees. Number 2, the weekly warrant for fees shall be reviewed and approved by the finance director. Number 3, upon approval of the weekly warrant for state fees by the finance director, any member of the ad hoc warrant subcommittee established pursuant to Chapter 29A of the Administrative Code may review and approve the weekly warrant for state fees and document his or her approval by signing the warrant. Number 4, the treasurer is authorized to disburse state fees each week upon presentation of a warrant for that purpose, which has been approved by the finance director and signed by any member of the ad hoc warrant subcommittee. Number 5, any error in any weekly warrant for state fees shall be corrected by the treasurer on the next weekly warrant for state fees after discovery of the error. Number 6, warrants for state fees approved pursuant to this policy are not subject to review and approval pursuant to Chapter 20-A of the Administrative Code. Number 7, the policy shall be reviewed and voted on annually by the council.
Second.
Oof, that was a tough one. Motion by Councilor Danforth, seconded by Councilor Prey. Discussion with the council. Didn't make that much more shorter. Out of the public. Seeing none, back to council. All those in favor, Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Councilor Prey.
Aye.
Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. Councilor Prey, if I could have a read of order number 151, 2022, please.
Order number 151-2022, providing for disbursement of employees' wages and benefits. Whereas the town treasurer may disperse money only on the authority of the warrant voted on and signed by the majority of the council, and whereas the council signs warrants on a bi-weekly basis, and whereas employees are paid on a weekly basis, therefore it is ordered pursuant to Title 30A-A, Section 5603.2.A.1, that the town treasurer is authorized to disperse wages and withholdings required by law on the authority of the warrant signed by the town manager.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon. Aye. Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Prey. Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. Councilor Pelletier, if I could have read order number 152, 2022, please.
Order 152-2022, payment of property taxes for multiple years. It is ordered that we, municipal officers of the town of Little Rock, upon request of the tax collector and town treasurer of said town, hereby authorize and direct the tax collector and town treasurer pursuant to Title 36 MRSA, Section 906, to apply any tax payments received from an individual as payment for property tax against outstanding or delinquent taxes due on said property in chronological order beginning with the oldest unpaid tax bill, provided, however, that no such payment may be applied to any tax for which an abatement application or appeal is pending unless approved in writing by the taxpayer.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Bragdon, if I could have read order number 153, 2022, please.
Order number 153-2022, providing for wastewater department anticipated revenues and transfers. It is ordered that the overall anticipated revenues and transfers as listed below is estimated in the amount of $2,170,000 is hereby approved for fiscal year 2023 for the wastewater department.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Prey. Discussion with the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor
Aye.
Prey. Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. And Councilor McEwen, if I could have you read order number 154, 2022, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 154-2022, providing for wastewater department operation. It is ordered that $2,113,123 is hereby appropriated for wastewater operations expenditures for FY23 for the departments listed below. Total $2,113,123.
Second again.
Motion by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, all those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth. Councilor Prey.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Danforth, if I could have read order number 155, 2022, please.
Order number 155-2022, providing for payment of sewer bills for multiple bills. It is ordered that we, the municipal officers of the town of Millinocket, upon request of the tax collector and town treasurer of said town, hereby authorize and direct said tax collector and town treasurer to credit sewer payments to accounts in the same manner as real estate payments, and whereas real estate tax payments are allocated to the oldest outstanding tax bill, and whereas the statutory reference in section 104-16 of the sewer ordinance has not been updated to reflect repeal of Title 30 MRSA and an enactment of Title 30-A. Now therefore, it is ordered as follows. The tax collector and the town treasurer are hereby directed to credit payments for sewer system use charges in the chronological order, beginning with the oldest unpaid sewer system use charge, provided, however, that no such payment shall be applied to any charge for which an abatement application or appeal is pending unless approved in writing by the sewer fee payer. It is further ordered that sewage system rates, fees, or user charges not paid within 90 days of when due shall be collected in accordance with Chapter 104, Section 104-16 of the Millinocket Code entitled 30-A MRSA, Section 3406.
Motion by Councilor Danforth, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0.
Mr.
Councilor
Chairman,
Prey. Yes.
in reference to item number 26 through 46, order number 156 through 176, I move these items be tabled.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor, Councilor
Mr. Chairman,
Prey.
just a comment so the public knows
Please.
what's happening. Thank you. These are the appropriations on the school budget, and as was pointed out earlier, we require that they need to have a balanced budget, and that has to be resolved before we can pass these orders.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Counselor Madore?
Mr. Chairman,
Counselor Prey?
a point of procedure.
Point of order, sure.
You saw it, didn't you?
A counselor had his hand up to ask a question.
My apologies, yes.
Yes, Counselor Gray, when you said 156 to 176, should you have included 177 as well?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor of tabling orders 156, 2022 through 176, 2022 in reference to what Councilor Prey mentioned earlier. Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, aye. Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen? Could you repeat that, please?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Tabled 7-0. I did hear nay as well, but.
Couldn't believe it.
And Councilor Pelletier, if I could ever read order number 177, 2022, please.
Order 177-2022, providing for fiscal year international program budget. It is ordered that the international program revenue budget of $273,300 and expense budget of $83,375 be approved. And it is further ordered that any fund balance will transfer to the school operating budget at the end of the fiscal year. And it is further ordered that the Millinocket Town Treasurer is authorized to accept and expend funds related to the approved international program budget to the extent that the funds are available by September 1st, 2022, and throughout fiscal year 23 to cover program expenses.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Prey. And just to speak to this process that we just went through, we understand from the school that the international program is expecting revenues to come in within the near future. If we were to table this, as we did the other orders tonight, it could potentially prevent some of those revenues from coming into the school. So we kept this on the agenda for us to discuss and hopefully approve so that we won't interfere with any of the cash flow that was represented by the superintendent, who mentioned he expected those funds by August. So that's just an explanation. We tabled the other orders, as Councilor Prey spoke to earlier, because of the issue of the unbalanced budget. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, aye. Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
Oh, gosh. That could go either way. Could you say that again? Okay. Yeah, do the thumbs up or down, please. Thank you.
There's no,
Yeah, the thumbs help. Passes 7-0. With that, could I ask for a move for a 5-minute recess? Use bathrooms, water.
Second.
Motion by Chair Gottlieb, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gottlieb, aye. Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Nay.
Councilor McEwen?
aye.
Aye, I heard that one. All right. 5-minute recess. We'll see you all at 7:45.
Do we have to report recess?
different, so I think that's questionable. The whole idea of conflict of interest is you're receiving a benefit of some sort. I mean, it's well, I was just what I had to do is tell you the first year I was sitting president, myself and my third, second year, so we was every single summer. Didn't pay attention. But back in those days, the banks and everybody else would give tickets.
else needs batteries? Batteries for everything. I don't know. Keep up with these microphones. I'm investing in yours, so
I'm like Oprah, batteries for you. Look under your seat, batteries.
Yeah, they don't need batteries. Watch you.
She didn't want to wait till the end, and she said, well, you guys took over it. And I took it, so I can go home. She said it didn't.
What?
We can't be accused of anything as far as
Okay.
If we can start making our way back to our seats, please. I don't know where you just went, Counselor Prey, but that's not where your seat is. All righty. So I understand that there are some members of the public that would like to address the council. We do have a 2-minute public comment section at the end of the meeting. However, obviously, we just took a recess and have a very long agenda. So I'd like to move that we have an additional 2-minute public comment section brought up to right now.
Second.
Motion by Chair Gottlieb, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gottlieb, aye. Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
So we are now in a public comment section. If you'd like to address the council, name and address, please.
Terry Given, 106 Prospect Street here in town. I just have a suggestion. Actually, maybe it's a request. As far as the school budget is concerned, I would ask that the parties involved, the manager, the treasurer on the town side, the bookkeeper and the superintendent on the school side, actually enter into a face-to-face conversation in the same room with the same documents, so that whatever the misunderstanding or the miscommunication is, no longer takes place via an email or a text or a conversation out in the community. I think it's really critical, and that's sort of old-fashioned, is it not? Before we had technology, that's how we used to do things, and I'm old. And I'm just thinking that it would certainly clear up, I think, a lot of you've used the word, town manager has used the word miscommunication and misconstrued, and I would suspect that one of the outcomes of that meeting of 4 people with documents, maybe even the new auditor zooming in if necessary, that there would be a signatory from those involved that, yes, I understand that and I agree. And then if there's no agreement, then the discussion continues face to face, person to person, in the same room about the figures that have been presented, so that it's not tied to a technological advancement, if you will, where we can be somewhere else in the world and still enter into a conversation. I think the documents and being in the same room, I think, would be very beneficial to everybody. I'm a retired educator as of last week, and I have a huge investment in this school system and in this town. I was born and raised here. And it bothers me that all of a sudden we have this air of distrust that seems to just have permeated not only the council but the school side as well. And it's caused a great deal of animosity, which I don't think needs to be there. So I'm suggesting that one way perhaps to to really clear things up is for the town manager and the treasurer, the superintendent and the bookkeeper, and perhaps the auditor if necessary, the same documents in front of each person and a conversation going down through. And if it involves figures that access is not for both parties, that there be an agreement that the information will be mutual for all parties involved, and get to the bottom of it so that we can move on. It's been a real sore spot, I know, for you folks, and it's been a real sore spot for us at school. So just a request that I think that would fix it. I really believe that, and it's very old-fashioned. It's how we used to do business. It's how we used to do it, and I think it might be warranted. So thank you for allowing me to speak to you now. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Ms. Gibbon, and thank you for all your years of service as a teacher. It's much appreciated to the town, and I'm sure the council as well. Mr. Manager, since she brought up more administrative type of requests, I don't really feel comfortable responding. Do you want to comment on that?
I am more than happy to accommodate a meeting like that, as we have in the past, and can continue to forward. I appreciate the recommendation of a signed agreement at the end of that meeting, acknowledging what was discussed and what was a shared decision at the end of the meeting. Given the history of those meetings within the past 6 months, I entirely agree with that recommendation, and my door is always open. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and thank you again for that suggestion. Any other public comment? And seeing none, moving on with the agenda, under new business, Councilor Prey, if I could have you read order number 178, 2022, please.
Order number 178-2022, providing for execution of the town warrant for June 23rd, 2022. It is ordered that the town warrant for June 23rd, 2022, in the amount of $71,723.62 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Danforth. Discussion under the council. Heavy hitters?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, ambulance billing was 71,000, I'm sorry, ambulance billing was I have the notes, but I don't have the number. Oh, $3,210.37. Bernstein, Shaw, Sawyer, and Nelson was $13,334.50. Hartley Ward was $1,183.10. Hoyer, Tanner, and Associates, dealing with the airport, $1,612.19. Lansing Funeral Home, $1,395. Maine Water, $34,013.01. R. Smith and Company, audit report was $34,013.01. I'm sorry, you're right, 2,100. Maine Water was $13,001. R.H. Smith was $2,100. Shalinsky, recreational pool maintenance was $1,209.98. Versant Power, streetlights was $7,736.39, and Versant again was $22,611.08.
Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Cray?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
Order passes 7-0, and Councilor Prey, back at you. If you
Order
could-
number 179-2022, providing for execution of the wastewater warrant for June 23rd, 2022. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for June 23rd, 2022, in the amount of $22,611.08 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Madore. Heavy hitters.
$3,303 to Maine Water Company, $10,120.13 to the town of Millinocket, $2,722.50 to Pierce Atwood, and $5,235.34 to Versant Power.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey? Councilor McEwen? Order passes 7-0. Councilor Pelletier? Thank you. Councilor Pelletier, if I could have a read order number 180-2022, please.
Order 180-2022, providing for authorization to grant parking space designation. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorize the designation of town parking space to Boreal Theater, granting 2 diagonal width for the official amount of entranceway on the property line bordering Aroostook Avenue.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilor Prey.
Mr. Chairman, I'd had conversations with former Councilor Randy Jackson and with the Public Works Director in reference to losing those 2 parking spaces where parking spaces are somewhat of a requirement. And I asked him, and he believes that they can move 2 more down going towards Central Street. Take those 2 out and put 2 additional diagonal parking between where Millinocket Variety is and where those slots are. There's one already on the other side of that, but there'd be an opportunity to put 2 additional so that we don't lose parking spaces in that area. So that's, not that it's in this order, but I would hope that the Public Works Director would come back with how to do that.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Bragdon, if I could have read order number 181-2022, please.
Order number 181-2022, providing for approval of street closures for the 3rd of July vendor craft fair. Whereas the events committee will be hosting a vendor craft fair along Penobscot Avenue on Sunday, July 3rd from 11 a.m. to, supposed to say 6 p.m. Whereas the side streets near the end of Penobscot Avenue need to be closed during the event for safety reasons, whereas 3 side streets would be closed for the entirety of the event, which are Birch Street, Poplar Street, and Pine Street, where Penobscot Avenue and Cotton Avenue intersections meet would also be closed. Therefore, it is now ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the closure of the above-mentioned side streets for the 4th of July vendor craft fair.
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Madore. Councilor Bragdon?
This particular order is redundant. They were combined in the next order, just so everybody is aware. I don't know if this one's necessarily needed, whereas in the next order, it is also included.
Oh,
Just so everyone aware, it was miscommunication. So the vendor craft fair is included in the next order with the parade activities.
Yeah, the next order is a bit more specific.
And it is more specific.
all right, well, we could still vote on it anyway, can't we?
I'm just pointing it out, that's all.
Yes, craft fair, everyone, on the 3rd.
Let's go with that.
Any public comment? Seeing none, back to council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Nay.
Councilor Madore?
Aye.
Chair Gully, Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Prey?
Aye.
Councilor McEwen?
Aye.
Order passes 6-1. Councilor Madore, can I have you read order number 182-2022, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Order 182-2022, providing for approval of street closures for the 4th of July activities and parade. Whereas the Events Committee will be hosting the 4th of July activities and parade this year, And whereas side streets along Penobscot Avenue need to be closed during these events for safety reasons. Therefore, it is now ordered that the town of Millinocket Town Council approves the 4th of July activities and parade street closure schedules as follows. Saturday, July 2nd, Poplar Street from Penobscot Avenue to Katahdin Avenue from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Close the bandstand parking lot from 7 a.m. on July 2nd through 11 p.m. on Sunday, July 3rd. Sunday, July 3rd, close the following intersections with Penobscot Avenue, Pine Street, Birch Street from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Close the intersections of Penobscot Avenue and Katahdin Avenue from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Close Poplar from Penobscot Avenue to Katahdin Avenue from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And on Monday, the 4th of July, on Monday, the 4th of July, close the following intersection onto Penobscot Avenue, Summer Street, Spruce Street, Pine Street, Poplar Street, and Birch Street from 7 a.m. through noon.
Second. Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion with the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor McEwen, can I have you read order number 183, 2022, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 183-2022, providing for approval of application for reappointment to the Cemetery Committee. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the reappointment of Francis Mango to the Cemetery Committee for the 3-year term to expire July 2025. Note, Francis' application for reappointment was received on June 10, 2022, prior to the expiration of his current term.
Second.
Motion by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion with the council. Councilor Madore.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's name is Francis Menu, not Francis Mingo. I know this from the fact that he's my brother-in-law.
Thank you, Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Councilor Madore.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor
Aye.
Danforth. Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. Councilor Danforth, can I have you read order number 184, 2022, please?
I'd rather not. Because I,
Mr. Chairman.
yes.
Diana, yes. Councilor Bragdon.
Mr. Chairman, I move that order 184 and order 185 are tabled.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen. Tabled 7-0 and tabled 7-0, and for the public reference, obviously this deals with the school budget referendum, which we cannot really place if we have not approved the budget. Hence,
Mr. Chairman,
they're both tabled. Councilor
I
Cray.
move order number 186 be tabled.
Motion by Councilor Prey to table order number 186, 2022, seconded by Councilor Madore. All those in favor for the same purpose, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Madore.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Prey.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Also tabled 7-0. And Councilor Bragdon, if I could have you read order number 187, 2022, please.
Please give me just 1 second. Please give me just 1 second to pull it up. Order number 187-2022, providing for revisions of order number 54-2016, establishment of banking and investment services with Bangor Savings Bank. Whereas order number 54-2016 authorized the town treasurer to open bank accounts of Bangor Savings for the deposit, withdrawal, and management of town funds. And whereas the fiscal year 21 audit report identified the school department bank accounts not in compliance with the statutes. And whereas no department of the town of Millinocket has the authority to open and maintain bank accounts other than the treasurer. And whereas the town has one tax ID. And whereas no employee of the town has the authority to establish other tax IDs for the town departments. Now therefore it is ordered, 1,
The treasurer is authorized to update all existing bank accounts at Bangor Savings for the Stearns High School and Granite Street Schools for the deposit, withdrawal, and management of town funds, including fiduciary funds. And 2, the accounts will be under the town's tax ID. And 3, the treasurer and deputy treasurer shall be the persons authorized to make deposits, investments, and withdrawals from the accounts authorized by this order. And 4, the treasurer, with the consent of the town manager and the advice of the town attorney, is authorized to complete all required paperwork to update these accounts. 5, the treasurer and deputy treasurer are authorized to complete and sign a signature card for each account to be updated under the authority of the order. 1, Stearns High School, and 2, Granite Street School.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragg, seconded by Councilor Medora. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon. Aye. Councilor Medora.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 7-0. And Councilor Medora, if I could have you read order number 187, 2022, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Or
Chairman.
188, my apologies.
Okay, thank you for that, too. Order 188-2022, providing for acceptance of donation for 4th of July activities. Whereas the Town Council acknowledges donations given to the town of Millinocket for the 4th of July activities, and whereas Flint Morrow donated all firewood for the 4th of July activities for both nights, and whereas Bragdon Technology donated $75 for s'mores, and whereas Jeff Pelletier of Pelletier Manufacturing donated the use of a truck and fire pit, it is ordered that the Town Council and the Town of Millinocket recognizes and accepts these donations given to the town for the 4th of July activities.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Medora, seconded by Councilor Danforth. Discussion of the council.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilor Medora.
Yeah, just a thank you to all these people involved. It's obviously going to be a good weekend for the town of Millinocket, and the fact that these people have taken the time to donate, I think, is a testament to the community spirit within the town of Millinocket, and I'd like to thank them all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Medora. I'm sure we all reflect those same feelings on the council. Thank you to all those who donated. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public. Matt Bragdon, where do you live?
Matt Bragdon of Bragdon Technology, 10 Balsam Drive. I just want to thank everybody that's helped out with this, especially Tom Malcolm and everybody that's put a lot of time into this. To Clint and to Jeff for all their donations that they have made. I also want to point out there is a potluck, and all of the councilors are invited to join. That will also be at Veterans Park during the 4th of July festivities, and I hope to see you guys come. And also, everyone is welcome. It's for all ages. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Any other public comment? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Abstain.
Councilor Medora.
Aye.
Chair Goliath, aye. Councilor Danforth.
Aye.
Councilor Cray.
Aye.
Councilor McEwen.
Aye.
Order passes 6-0-1. With that, for reports and communications, warrant committee for the July 14th, 2022 council meeting will be Councilor Bragdon and Danforth. If you're both good with that, thank you both. Any chair committee reports? Councilor Danforth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an age-friendly committee chair report. We had a committee meeting, was it this week or last week? I forgot. It was this week already, okay? Sorry. Anyway, great, yeah. So what came out of that meeting, I want people to know, and we will put it up on the town Facebook page and other social media, but there's a caregiver support group that's going to be started. This was a need that that we knew of in the community, and thanks to our AmeriCorps member that's working out of the library, there's one that's going to be started in conjunction with Eastern Area Agency on Aging, and it's going to start, the first meeting is going to be July 27th, 3 to 4 at the library. Self-care is the topic, so more to come. We'll get that started, and that's been a long-standing need in the community that's going to be met. Also, there's also a community outdoor fun, some programs that we're working with the Gear Library, and in particular is an age-friendly community walk. And these are actually already starting. You meet at 8:30 on Thursdays, right down here at the Gear Library. Some people say that let's meet at the bakery. but they meet there and then they walk the Mizzou Trail and end there. So there's information about that. There's some good stuff happening. Also, I just want to mention that the community garden that was planted at Crandall Park is flourishing. There's over 10 households participating in that garden, and it's going very well. I invite you to go see what's going on there. Things are going, it's beautiful. And you already have, okay. Yeah, so that's a celebration, and thank you, Councilor Gottlieb, for your part in that, for making that happen. One more thing, also there's a work group that's being formed. I alluded to this earlier. We're going to work with the events committee around a downtown farmers market, community market sort of venture. So stay tuned for that. And thanks to Randy Jackson, he's also instigated the start perhaps of a pickleball program. New lines were painted on the resurfaced tennis courts over there at the high school. And so I'm going to work with some funding that I have to get some nets and paddle balls and paddles and balls, and we'll figure out how to teach people, including myself, how to play pickleball. And we'll have that available at the Gear Library to start, and we'll figure out that. There will be no July meeting. I do want to make one more, to share a little bit of information. Last week I was in Ellsworth, and I attended the 4 Main Downtown Gathering as a result of us participating in the 4 Main Downtown project. We were all invited to attend. I was able to go proudly as far as representing the town of Millinocket. Came back with some good information. The thing that I just really want to share, and I'll share more information, our downtown is our calling card. We've talked about that, beautification, what we can do to make our downtown more appealing and attractive to not only those of us that live here, but people visiting and those that we're trying to attract here. So I've got some resources. They provided suggestions what other communities around the state are doing, potential resources for funding. But the biggest message I heard there was like, clean up your Main Street. And so, and I know our committees are working on that. And I will just say that I think we know what a difference one building can do, the change of one building. We've seen that with the Boreal Theater, what Mr. Jackson has done, and the amount of activity that's downtown in that space already. So that's just one great example that that it's nice to highlight. So, and I will follow up with the manager because I also found out about some funding opportunities that I want to share with you. You had talked the last time you attended a training at MMA, how impactful it was, or that there's lots of trainings out there. It was your initial managers meeting, or for first-time managers. There is funding available for all staff of the municipality to get some funding for, I say, workforce development, but any kind of training that you want for professional development. I want to share that with you. So there's grant funds. So stay tuned. I've got some resources to share.
I actually met that fella at the career fair, and I have that information, so it'd be great to explore it together.
That's all? Councilor
In conclusion,
seriously though, you just highlighted just a small fraction of the significant amount of work that you do for this town. Thank you very much for going down and representing the town for the 4 Main, but also everything else that you've just mentioned and far beyond. It's much appreciated. You do a lot for the town with your committee and for your job and otherwise. Any other chair committee reports? Just to piggyback off of what Councilor Danforth mentioned of the importance of the downtown, we've had very thorough discussions of that importance in the Economic Development Committee on multiple fronts. We were granted $2,000 to put new signage up for rerouting snowmobile and ATV trails to go through the downtown. That's in response to a lot of calls from the public on bringing that traffic through the downtown. And because of the assistance that we also get, not just financial, but from Ann Ball, who's with 4 Main Downtown, she is working with us on strategizing a whole bunch of other ways to address our downtown, which really affects our ability to attract employees, families, all sorts of people, and retaining them to our town. I know the hospital and other important employers have a very hard time attracting new employees, attracting people to work and live here because of our downtown needing a very, very big beautification project. So we're looking at everything from small, inexpensive changes to much larger, longer-term projects. We are currently floating the idea of including that in a bond that might be associated with other things as well that we'll eventually present to the council. So if anyone's interested in that type of conversation, whether it's a simple suggestion or a way you might want to volunteer to help, or to the much larger, longer-term plan and goals of the town, feel free to join us at the Economic Development Committees. All the committees are recorded and posted on YouTube, so whether it's Age-Friendly Events Committee, Economic Development, Sustainability, all of them are online, so feel free to catch up on what we've been talking about and come to our future meetings. If you cannot attend them, feel free to email or message or call each of the chairs of the committees with your input. And with that, moving to the 2-minute public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the council? Chief Malcolm?
Tom Malcolm, Chairman of Rec Commission. I just want to make everybody aware the pool is open. It opened on Monday and had a good attendance this week. Even I thought it was too cold, but the kids didn't. It's been a real good attendance there. And also our summer lunch program has started. And we have 2 places in Millinocket that kids can go, either to the pool or at the library. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Malcolm. Any other public comment? And seeing none, I seek a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilor Medora, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor, Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon? Councilor Medora?
Aye.
Chair Gully, aye. Councilor Danforth?
Aye.
Councilor Cray?
Aye.
Councilor